It's 4 p.m. We bring you the developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon.
And here are some stories we are watching this Wednesday, March 20. President Bongbong Marcos says efforts in the West Philippine Sea are not meant to start a conflict against China by, quote, unquote, poking the bear. Marcos notes that the government is just defending the country's territory amid growing threats. Meantime, China once again reminded the U.S. to stay out of maritime issues between Manila and Beijing.
I wonder lang, Bok, if it's poking the bear or disturbing the dragon. Diba? Bear is normally applied to Russia.
Right. Well, there's a panda bear. They're Chinese.
Oh, but it sounds inappropriate to use the panda bear in this as an analogy for this
cute,
case.
diba?
Oh, masyadong cute eh. Okay, meantime, the House of Representatives is expected to pass the resolution of both Houses number 7 on third and final reading today. RBH 7 seeks to amend the economic provisions in the 1987 Constitution on foreign ownership of public utilities, education, and advertising. The lower chamber will also tackle the bill that will revoke the franchise of SMNI. And critics are slamming Hong Kong's new law that gives government more power to quell dissent. The most vocal are the European Union and the United Nations, who say Hong Kong National Security Bill could deal a blow to the Chinese region's status as a business hub.
And of course, joining us again on Storycon is Amy Pamintuan, the editor-in-chief of the Philippine Star. Amy, happy Wednesday.
Hi. Happy Wednesday, Ed and Patrick.
Yes.
Mukha bang maganda yung mga headlines niyo for tomorrow?
Pareho din yung binabantayan natin sa South China Sea. Yan daw next balikatan naval drills between the Philippines and the US will go beyond the 12 nautical mile nating territorial waters sa outside doon sa West Philippine Sea. So we're going to watch that. Mas siguradong magpaprotesta na naman ang China niyan.
But will it stay within our EEZ, the 200 nautical miles, or will it go beyond the EEZ?
Yes, yan ang hindi malaman. Siguro, freedom of navigation yan, di ba?
Yeah,
yan
still
ang
international
position
waters
ng
naman
US and other countries. It's international waters na yan, beyond the mga EEZs eh. So pwede siya actually. Anyone can conduct drills there or patrol or whatever you want to call it.
Actually,
basta hindi siya aggressive eh.
Actually, Bok, even within EEZs, pwede yung atay it's still international waters eh.
It's still international
So
waters.
people can still conduct, I suppose, their drills.
The sovereign rights only apply
Exploitation.
to the exploitation of the natural resources. Pero there's supposed to be freedom of navigation for everybody on those waters.
Yes. Eh, syempre, gusto ng China magpapaalam sa kanila because they're claiming almost the entire South China Sea.
Oh,
Kaya yan
I'm not sure, Bok.
Titingnan natin kung ano reaction nila
Yes.
dyan sa drills na yan, upcoming.
Yeah,
So they consider it as territorial waters.
territorial waters. That makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah,
okay?
that's way beyond the 12-mile nautical mile territorial waters.
So more or less,
By any standard.
Territory nila.
our position is within
Territory nila,
UNCLOS.
nasulusin eh. Paano yun?
But the other interesting point that we have to watch out for is yung RBH number 7 sa Kongreso. Kasi kahapon, Bok, may pagbabanta na binabanggit si Man Enriquez coming from Deputy Majority Floor Leader Janet Curin.
Yes.
Na kung ayaw ng
Janet
Senado
Curin.
galawin, ayaw ng Senado ipapanda rin yung RBH number 6, abay, balik people initiative na lang. So, may ganon.
Yes.
Naghahamunan na naman.
Oo.
Ang dalawang
Balik
chambers,
PI.
no?
So,
Okay.
PI na naman.
Okay, but I understand, Bok, you were busy. You were busy just a while ago at the other studio, preparing your explainer. This has to do with the death of Zulueta.
Ricardo Zulueta. Napag-usapan namin ng bahagya ni Amy ito kahapon kasi kinonfirm ng PNP just yesterday, I think, yung pagkamatay ni Zulueta. And they were saying that there was no foul play involved. Di ba, 2 taong hinahanap si Zulueta, tapos in the end, kasama lang pala niya yung common law wife niya.
Okay.
Hindi ko alam kung nasa hometown siya o ano. Dinulopian eh. But anyway, so, but that's beside the point.
This is just in Bataan.
Bataan, Bataan.
Very close.
Anyway, yung point of concern doon sa kasong yun is, there is nobody else directly linking Bantag, Gerald Bantag, dating Bucor chief, to the Percy Lapid murder case. Okay. Ang pinagbasehan lamang ng DOJ are affidavits coming from mga preso. To the effect na sinabihan sila ni Sulweta, ang kanang kamay ni Bantag, sinabihan daw sila ni Sulweta na utos ito sa taas.
Okay. Oo.
Pero hindi nila nakausap.
In fact, lahat,
Oo.
yeah. In fact, lahat si Sulweta lang ang tinuturo eh.
Oo.
Walang
Ni isa.
direct na attribution to Gerald Bantag. Ang
Ni isa
problema
wala
lang dyan,
kausap.
Ed, anong motive ni Sulweta? Kasi kung personally, wala silang away di Percy Lapid eh. Kung sakasakali, yun lang ang pwede diyang erase na panayang critical commentary ni Percy Lapid against Gerald Bantag at pinuntahan pa yung bahay.
Not against Sulweta, di ba?
Yun
Not
yung
against Sulweta.
pinaka-trigger doon eh. Pinuntahan daw yung bahay para yata kunan. Di ba? Paparazzi shot.
But you know
So,
what?
merong motive yon. Kaya lang, yun na nga. Murder yan eh.
Pero Bok, you know
Kailangan
what
medyo-
makes everything much more complicated is the fact na nagtumestigo itong mga preso, umamin, nag-confess na si Sulweta nag-utos sa amin at sabi ni Sulweta si Bantag ang nag-utos sa kanya. So pasa-pasa. So
There's no direct link.
no direct link to Bantag. Si Sulweta daw.
The only one who can
Ang problema-
actually finger Bantag
Would be Sulweta.
would have been Sulweta.
Ang problema, itong mga presong umamin, dahil umamin sila, it was a confession made in court, hinatulan sila. They were convicted na.
Okay.
Again.
Umamin na sila eh.
Tumagdag 2 to 8 years sa kanilang dumagdag ng 2 to 8 years sa last year and last year dumagdag ng 2 to 8 years ang kanilang current na sentensya
These are the inmates na nag-fundraising, remember, no? For to hire that hitman, allegedly.
para patayin ng isang taong hindi nila kilala. They had to look for
Kaya
his
nga.
video kasi pinagutusan sila. So hindi nila kilala, sila nautusan, sa huli sila lang ang sumabit.
Okay. At saka
Kaya
yung
nga,
isang
importante
critical
nga
witness
yung
ay
motive for the
namatay na.
mastermind. Diba? Yun ang wala namang maituro ka kay Sulweta. Hindi naman nila inaaway yun eh. Hindi rin siya inaaway ni Percy Lapid. So, yun lang ang pwedeng paglabanan na lang siguro ngayon for the prosecution na going after Gerald Bantag, who is still missing. Hindi pa natin.
Pero Bok,
hindi pa siya
in the end,
nakukuha
Bok,
hanggang ngayon.
in the end, it's all hearsay against Bantag na.
Right, oo.
Kasi it's all based on affidavit saying na sinabi sa amin ni Sulweta na si Bantag nag-utos.
And if with Zulweta out of the picture,
No way to confirm.
okay, we're right.
So,
Okay.
of course, we're not lawyers, but in the end, that's how it all falls into place, eh? Or fails to fall into place, if you might put it that way.
Okay, let's go back, Bok Ami, to a more recent incident. This has to do with the ABC Australia interview with President Bongbong Marcos recently. We all know what happened with that interview. Well, at least,
Yes.
that bombshell, or so to speak, of a question when he was asked about hidden wealth, and corruption. Now, what's interesting is that ABC News, or the reporter, the correspondent, has uploaded behind-the-scenes clips from those from that interview. I guess it made her career in a way, no?
Oo, I suppose nag-viral siya eh. Mga Pilipino pa ang hiling mag-social media, di ba?
And maybe we can pull up a sample of the clip from ABC Australia. Okay.
Are we allowed to play it? Baka may restrictions eh.
Do you have it, Bok? Ano?
Stills lang eh.
Still some.
But anyway, actually, the video itself is not remarkable eh, kasi it's the same video.
Right.
It's just that she's pointing out.
She was annotating.
Yeah, she was annotating. She was saying
the interview.
you can see the shadows at the back, which you won't notice unless she points it out. You can see the shadows at the back moving kasi the staff of the president daw were all in panic.
Panic at that moment after that question was made, and the president was reacting. Medyo fumbling at that question, which apparently he probably did not expect.
Yeah, and it's something that usually happens in
the Philippines, not in Australia.
Pero it's surprising that he did not expect the question.
Actually, yeah.
Kasi he has had interviews with foreign media in previous trips overseas. He was asked hard questions about his family, about the dictatorship, about the wealth. Kaya nakakapagtaka bakit Bakit siya nabigla?
He was
with that
prepared,
question?
Ami, I remember that interview, I think that was the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. He was able to answer that question sufficiently. But if we will look back at previous interviews with President Bongbong Marcos, or even before he became president, medyo pagdating talaga sa hidden, well, I would imagine, Bong, I think you've had your own experience, may konting discomfort doon ng ang presidente when it comes to questions about
Hindi konti.
Oo. I don't know if it's a parang he doesn't want to bother with the legalities of these cases, which frankly speaking ang dami and it's so hard to keep track of, or what, no?
Well,
Siguro kasi nga marami pa siyang live. Marami siyang live cases which is what Amy Marcos told Ed before yung interview sa atin. Siguro mga 200 daw ba yun, Ed? Mga 200 cases pa.
That's
and
not
she
really
cannot
true.
remember daw all the details.
You don't have 200 live
Diba?
cases.
Okay.
You don't have 200 live cases. 200 yung cases more or less in total since 1986. And the ones that we were asking about then and the ones she was asking about now were cases decided already, which was specifically yung na-retrieve, na-recover na. Hindi yung pending pa. Yung mga na-recover na ng bilyones. And that's beyond question. That's already, nabalik na
Balik na. But of those 200 live cases or those 200 cases that were filed, not all live, and a lot of them, I wonder, has anyone kept track of how many have actually
I suppose sa PCG
seen
would
decisions?
I suppose sa PCG would have that. Pero kasi yung iba, marami sa kanila rin, marami sa kanila were settled out of court. Kasi not all the 200 were against the Marcos.
Right.
Marcos and cronies yan eh. Same way na yung 10 billion is not Marcos lang, but Marcos and cronies.
Right.
So yun, there were a lot of settlements, for example, yung itong katabi nating Campos.
Okay.
The biggest settlement was Campos. Jose Campos, Jose Y. Campos.
Unilab.
That was one of the first and biggest settlements made, among others.
Among others. So
At naibalik yung pera.
200 cases originally filed in 86 by then Solicitor General Frank Chavez. I remember attending the press conferences. At that press conference when he may deadline yun eh. And he appeared before the press with voluminous documents representing those 200 cases. Medyo, and in the course of the interview, Ami, I remember that he kind of said that medyo minadali yung iba. Ganon. So that should explain why
kaya siguro
some were dismissed.
hirap din si President Marcos sumagot eh. It's an unresolved question, yung ill-gotten wealth. He became president despite all those questions, and it will continue hounding the family even after he's no longer president. So medyo mahirap siguro i-craft yung mga sagot sa ganyan talagang mga question. Although tuloy-tuloy yan eh. I'm sure marami pa rin magtatanong yan. Same question.
I mean, in a way, it's unresolved because there are unresolved cases, but it's not unresolved in the sense that there are already resolved cases.
Yes.
So as to the question of whether or not there were
settled
ill-gotten...
na merong ill-gotten wealth in the billions.
Yeah.
Settled na yun eh. Kasi meron na tayo especially starting with the Swiss accounts. Magkano na yun?
You talked about that
including the
last time,
interest, $600 million.
That's 33 billion pesos.
Including interest. Kahit yung original 300 plus, magkano na yun? Billion na yun.
Right,
Nasaan
in pesos.
kinuha? Which was what you asked Senator Amy Marcos, hindi ba? Saan ang galing yung original wealth?
Anyway, but interesting yung, was it Instagram or ano ba yung TikTok ang ginawa niya?
Sa TikTok. I think it was uploaded on TikTok, right?
She was pointing out the shadows moving behind the president were the minders. That's the word she uses, minders.
It's probably not a correct word to say kasi presidente yun, more like AIDS. Kasi minders para tagabantay sa kanya eh. Di ba?
Sa ibang bansa kasi, for example, sa Iraq, tawag sa mga sensor namin, mga minders.
Right. Pero in this case, the president yan eh.
Diba?
So baka AIDS. Siguro yung mga press people niya. Yung media PCO people. Right.
Panic attack. So, ang sabi ni Sarah Ferguson, the shadows are moving because the minders were
Frantically moving around.
trying to
Cut it.
shut the interview down. I think that's the phrase that she used. I don't know what her basis for saying that was, or what the wordings were that were exchanged during that time. Kasi I don't know naman how I don't know whether they would have the nerve to shut it down.
Yes, mahirap ang gawin yun.
In any
kapag
case,
ganyan,
interview
Whether
proceeded.
it's local or
proceeded naman.
foreign interview, mahirap yun.
In any case, the interview continued, ano?
It would be more embarrassing.
Yeah, oo. Medyo, no? And to be fair, no, I saw some parts of the interview, apart from this controversial part, where the question was asked about the hidden wealth. And medyo maayos naman. They talked about regional security and the usual stuff about defense and cooperation with Australia, China. The rest were sufficiently answered naman. It was just this one thing, this moment where everything went awry, and that's what went on TikTok.
And she
Mas
knew.
masanay siya sumagot about human rights.
Right.
Mas madalas yung tanongin Yan yung human rights violations, yan yung issue sa Hawaii,
China.
yan yung reparation over human rights. Mas kabisado na niya yung sagot niya ron.
And si Sarah Ferguson apparently was conscious of the fact that she would have to divide her questions into two parts. The first part being the non-controversial in the sense that
Soften them up.
Yeah. It's a good
soft
technique
intro.
actually. It's a good technique.
Yeah.
Which
we do.
Yeah.
No, we really
I
do
don't
that
like
with
starting
big interviews.
I don't like starting hard. I like starting soft and building it up to
Get them comfortable. Diba? Ami, ganun rin ba tactic mo, Ami? Soft
Mamaya
questions
may
first.
nakikinig dyan sa inyo
Icebreakers first, di ba?
Masasanay na. Maghahanda na yung mga yan. Pagkatapos ng 15 minutes, aalis na yung guest.
Di naman.
Tapos na yung soft question.
I'm sure the rules or the strategy is the same for most journalists, no? You start with soft questions. Get them comfortable and at
Get them
ease.
talkative.
At ease. Let them start talking and then you drop the hard ones. Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And then end again lightly para wala masamaan ng loob.
Para hindi ka hahabulin sa labas. Hindi ka aabangan sa labas.
Ganon, di ba?
Mga journalist jokes. Hindi ka abangan sa labas. Anyway, so that's that for Sarah Ferguson and Bongbong Marcos. And then we have Kibuloy, one of our big stories for today. Actually, kapon pa to. Hindi ko lang alam kung paano umandar . Of course, the Senate and the House already released their arrest warrants against Kibuloy for failing to appear. Let me check one news. Yeah, but this is yesterday pa . Senate orders Kibuloy's arrest, DOJ files sex raps. Again, as we said nga, the procedure is under the rules of the House and the Senate. Pag out of town or pag nasa probinsya, the Senate or the House Sergeant at Arms will have to coordinate with the local police. So hindi siya ganun kadali o ganun kabilis. And of course, a lot of it is dependent, of course, on cooperation from the local police.
And that means Davao City Police.
City. So that will make for interesting
Pero
dynamics.
mukhang lalabanan Ang sabi nung one of the lawyers of Kibuloy said they might challenge the arrest orders of Congress before the Supreme Court.
Yeah. You'd imagine that talaga.
Yeah.
Especially after the two Supreme Court decisions in 2018 and 2022 or 2023, which further reduced or limited the powers of the Senate to hold in contempt.
Pero ngayon, at umaandar na yung criminal case, which is significant. Remember, Ed, kahapon kausap natin si Babe Romualdez. Sabi niya, tinanong natin about the extradition request of the US. Ang sabi niya, mukhang kailangan daw tapusin muna yung local cases bago magkaroon ng extradition request. Kapag ganyan, paano? Inaabot ng 20 years natin ang local cases bago makaresolve. Hindi na yung makarating sa FBI kahit kailan.
Okay. Ami, matanong ko, do you think there's a geopolitical angle to this story? The arrest of Kibuloy?
Ayun na nga, I also asked Babe. So, sabi ko, at the level ba of the Biden-Marcos one-on-one?
Right.
Aakit pa kaya yan doon? Basta sinabi lang niya nga yun, ang extradition daw might have to wait until the local cases in the Philippines are settled. So, ayan. Siyempre,
So
alam
when
mo
that
naman
is-
dito, yung hustisya natin, hindi ko naman minamaliit. Kaya lang, we know that political considerations come into play even in our judicial system. So
Right.
hindi natin alam kung anong maapektuhan. Kibuloy is very influential, especially in Mindanao. At nakita naman natin, pati sa hindi taga Mindanao, they're saying they will support him dahil kaibigan siya. So, tingnan natin kung paano aandar yan in our justice system. Nasa piskalya pa lang ngayon.
Ito talaga si Amy, she will not daw belittle the justice system sa mahirit na.
Oh, I mean,
Political.
but how often is an arrest warrant, okay, from the Senate
Yeah.
preceded by a notice to explain? So may ganun pa proseso, di ba? Para hinay-hinay lang. Di ba, Ami?
May preno, may pagpipreno.
May konting busina.
Oh, kahit wala kahit wala sa rules
Yes.
say pagbigyan. And then, Bok, let's begin our reporter, si Marian Enriquez of News 5, nasa Kongreso for updates on RBH number 7 and SMNI. Marian.
So, hi.
Ay, Bok.
Magandang hapon nga. Yes, nakasuspend lang yung House of Representatives. Pero ngayon, kababalik lang. Sakto lang. Pero hindi pa nga tinatakay sa yung RH7 at yung SMN na sa bill. So, yun yung inaabangan natin. Kaya lamang. Kasi nakasala na may tatlo huling pagpasa ngayong araw yung dalawang yung resolution na yan at yung pagkalang batas.
Teka, Marian, hindi ka namin maintindihan. Sayang lang yung kwento mo. Itaas mo yung paa mo, baka magwala signal. Wala.
Balikan na natin si Marian pag medyo maayos.
Pero parating ganun. Direct, baka mas maganda kung online natin sa tawagan. Kasi mukhang cell site hindi maganda sa Oo.
Okay.
Baka mas maigi yung wifi na lang gamitin.
Naka-break daw sila, sabi
Naka-break
niya.
sila eh. But the rest, hindi ko na maintindihan. Parang kahapon. Nag-take 2 tayo kahapon sa interview.
Hindi, kahapon, ang interesting kahapon, siguro i-follow up natin. Kung, di ba sabi niya, yung kay Janet Garin nga na kung uupuan niya ng Senate mukhang
PI na lang.
mas attractive na yung People's Initiative option. Di ba sabi natin, personal ba yan ni Janet Garin or is it a sentiment of a lot of the congressmen? Siguro yun na lang tanungin natin. Medyo madali-dali yun, no?
Oh, or
Kung makukuha natin siya.
or Ami, trial balloon. Pwede rin gano'n, di ba?
Ay nako, alam na naman nila reaction dyan ng mga senators.
Right.
Kasi from the start, yun ang sinabi ng senators, parang blackmail daw sa kanila yung People's Initiative. And considering na ang issue dun sa People's Initiative, yung sa joint voting Yun mo actually the economic chacha, di ba? Yung joint voting ang inaano doon. So yun ang mukhang wala na naman yan. Back to square one sila.
Is
yung
there,
bago nag-usap
Ami, is there still a question whether the Senate, whether the Senate can actually pass those economic revisions? May ganun pa bang
walang
mga
nakakalendar
conversation in the Senate?
until after, well,
Nasa
before the
committee pa
Holy Week break, walang nakakalendar about economic chacha. Yun ang
nasa
report
committee pa
from the
natay,
Senate.
wala pa sa plenary.
Kaya nga nagkaroon ng ganyang salita yung mga congressmen. Kung talagang ganyan, mag-people's initiative na lang.
Bok, ibalik natin
So
si
we
Man.
don't know how.
I think Man's back on air. Man, can you hear us?
Hello, yan. Magandang hapon.
Veterer, yan.
O yan na.
Better ba? Ayan.
Go, Bok.
So ngayon nga,
Okay.
naka-suspend lang yung session dito sa Kamara at hinihintay pa natin na mag-resume at kita lang na sa plenaryo yung pagdinig nga sa third and final reading ng RBH 7 at SMNI franchise application bill. Kasi yun nga yung inaasahan, no? Ngayong araw, nakakita na ipasa na yan sa third and final reading yung dalawa.
Do we expect any hiccups as far as RBH number 7 is concerned? Mukha ba itong good to go na sa kanila? Walang harang, walang hadlang, o wala mag-amyenda, wala mag-revisa?
Good to go na to, Bok, kasi kung nag-second reading, kung saan nandun din yung period of amendment, talagang pinasa lang nila as is. Last week yan, no, nung Wednesday. At ngayon nga, inaasahan na ipapasok na to sa third and final reading. At tulad nga nung sinabi ni Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez, na 280 yung nagpahayag ng mga kongresista na gustong mag-co-author doon sa RPH 7. So, malamang talaga na
Good to go.
matutuloy na to. Talagang i-adopt na nila. Ipapasa na sa third and final reading.
Okay. Marian, so this is totally different from what was originally agreed on, I understand, na agreed on with the President na the Senate will pass, and whatever the Senate passes, the House of Representatives will adopt. So, nainip na yung Congress.
It's a way to say, pero para sa kanila kasi, hindi naman daw sa pumuna yung progress ko para sa kanila, gusto nila na kumukulong na rin yung debate, yung usapan dito sa Kamara. Kaya nila talagang ginawa na itong RBH 7. Pero kung ano
Marian,
man ang
to
mangyari
follow
daw,
up
talaga
yung,
naman
yung usapan natin kahapon about Janet Garin, have you had a chance na tanungin yung ibang kongresista kung common sentiment sa kanila na kung uupuan ng Senate siyang RBH 6, mas maganda pa mag-People's Initiative na lang?
Laling
You
liderato,
think that's a general sentiment in the House o kay Janet Garin lang yun, personal?
So for ngayon, ang ko talaga nila, itulak ng Senado yung RBH 6. Kasi kung tatanay sa kanina, maasa na itutuloy ng Senado, lalo na kung announcement ni Senate President Mig Zubiri sa Czech Republic na on track daw yung kanilang pagkakatan nga dito sa RBH 7. So, dun sa salitang yung Senate President, ang panawagan na nga lang ni Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez kanina, gamitin nga ng mga papabati sa House yung Holy Week break daw pa-usap para maiwasan na yung letter, kumbaga, yung legal impediment ang harapin nila. Sakaling i-forward na sa COMELEC itong parehong
Okay. Marian, medyo bubukod ako ng konti. Ibang bill yung SMNI franchise revocation, di ba? That's a separate bill altogether. And that's going to be on third and final reading as well. Is that correct?
Yes, tama.
This is the first time, if I recall correctly, this is the first time that Congress is actively revoking a broadcast franchise. Tama ba? This has to also be approved by the Senate and signed by the President? Is that correct?
Tama po. Tulad ng paano kalang i-transmit ito sa Senado, kailangan din sa support sa Pangulo.
So mukhang paglalabanan na naman yan nila ng Senate kasi
ipuusapan na naman yan.
medyo maraming RIF supporter si Apollo Kibuloy sa Senate eh.
Totoo yan.
At medyo
Lalo na
wala pa yatang umuusad na proposal even for revocation of franchise ng SMNI in the Senate.
Wala pa nga. Wala pa rin kami naririnig na pinasa sa Senate.
Bok, can you rewind a bit, more or less, ano yung mga nakalagay dun sa bill on the revocation of the franchise? Anong dahilan why they are so intent on revoking it? At least in brief.
Ang alam ko, nag-violate sila not only doon broadcasters code ng Philippines, pero yung iba meron mga pay, kung paano yung post, hindi daw kumbaga just at masasabing aside from that,
Nawala?
kung paano nagpupunto yung mga host at side comments kasi diba si Patoy and I think Sally dun sa kay Peak office na tama pa, travel fund may 1 billion daw health fund and purely expected daw. Tapos mainly ay sa mga kanila sa franchise na hindi daw nila ipinagbigay alam sa Kongreso yung pagkakaroon ng state sa ownership.
I remember that.
Talaga sa batas na dapat ipaalam sa Kongreso, maginaw yun. Pero yung totoo ng pabago sa kanilang leadership ng corporation, Suara Sudia Corporation, sa Kongreso.
Yeah.
O yan.
Okay.
Spreading false reports yan, saka insulting the House. Saka threatening a member of Congress.
Yeah, actually, I'm...
Well, House a franchise to broadcast is we should probably mention here na it's actually a privilege given by Congress.
Yes.
It's not really a right, but of course, nowhere you could also look at the context of all this happening. Ed na We've gone from a non-renewal to taking back an active franchise. So,
Yes.
medyo...
And shutting down a media organization.
Yeah.
That's a media organization. Kaya may impact din siya if they can do it to SMNI. Yan naman ang sinasabi doon ng ibang quarters. It can be easily done to other networks.
Okay. So
Yan ang ano dyan.
So there are clearly some press freedom implications here in this revocation of
As well.
franchise because it's directly being linked to a broadcast by
hosts.
a news
Correct.
program or a public affairs program, a commentary program on SMNI.
I'm looking
And
at
critical commentary.
I'm looking at RA 11422. Ito yung the act granting the franchise to SMNI signed in July 2018 for 25 years. Particularly Section 15 says na this franchise shall be subject to amendment, alteration, or repeal
Right.
by Congress of the Philippines when the public interest so requires, and shall not be interpreted as an exclusive grant of the privileges herein provided. So Section 15 provides Congress the power to revoke the franchise.
So it's clearly within the prerogative of Congress to take back this
That's open to
franchise.
interpretation of the public interest so requires.
Yeah. Yan yun nga,
It's clearly within their prerogative to take back the
Yes.
franchise, not to renew. But at the same time, I hope this is weighed in by other factors like implications on press freedom, broadcast. Ano ba naman yung may warning muna, fine or something through other relevant agencies in government. Anyway.
Boxy, Man, pakawalan natin kasi baka magko-cover pa yan. Baka mas kapal niya, mapagalitan
Yeah.
tayo ni Man. Man, maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Thank you, Maan.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you,
Pero
Mas.
because of this controversy actually kaya nga nabubuhay nga yung mga recommendation na tanggalin sa mga politicians yung pagbibigay ng franchise. At ibigay na lang daw sa NTC.
Because in other countries nga naman, it's ministerial.
Ministerial.
It's
Ministerial siya. Oo.
It's
Saka
not
yung
political.
technical allocation ng di ba?
Yeah.
Na mga frequencies. Yan.
Yeah. Yung
Kaya
any
siguro,
control.
ewan ko lang kung pag-uusapan yan, kung willing ang mga lawmakers natin na mawala yung power na yan sa kanila.
And any other
They
control over
would have to
content.
pass that law sila mismo, di ba? I mean, so I wonder if they
Kaya
are
nga.
willing to give up that power.
Yan na nga. Unless siguro may malakas-lakas na outcry, public outcry na, oy, tanggalin nyo sa kanila yung ganyan. Baka hindi naman sila nag-araw-araw na rally for SMNI and, well, siguro dapat hindi nila pagsamahin yung SMNI at Kibuloy, no? Para medyo na-focus yung issue. Pero, yun, depende. Sumusunod naman sa public pulse din yung mga lawmakers natin. They are also sensitive. So,
It is
tingnan
very
natin
old.
kung saan.
It is a very old law. It's a law that I think that predates World War II pa eh. Itong requiring congressional approval of a franchise.
Buti ang dyaryo, Ami, wala kayong franchise na
wala
kailangan.
eh. Although, yun na nga, meron kaming libel law.
Tayo naman din.
Na ano po. Iba naman yun. Iba naman yun. Hindi
But
kami
I guess
ganyan
it's
na talagang
also,
may requirement
it has to do
operate.
with the nature of the medium,
Merong
right,
mga
Bob?
parameters. Iba
kasi-
siya.
Kasi a television network requires frequency, which is
Yes.
belongs to the state, to the public. Yun, that's why. Dyaryo naman, mas may pera pa print ang dyaryo. No?
Saka
Anyway,
kahit sa mga mga porn, mas may specific kayo eh. May specific requirements kayo kasi kahit mga bata pwedeng buksan yung TV eh. Yung mga print, first you need to be able to read.
And
At may certain level of reading comprehension
Right.
para maintindihan mo kung ano yung nandun. Unlike on TV na makita lang yung picture, oops, ano ba yan napapanood kong yan? Kaya may konting regulation.
Huwag ka naman ganun. Kailangan din ng comprehension sa TV. Nasasaktan naman kami yan.
hindi, ang argument nga dyan po, kay,
Imagery hindi ba?
Nasasaktan naman kami dyan.
ang argument nga dyan is, television is the most democratic medium. Well,
Kasi
maybe
least common
internet now.
Least common denominator.
Well, you don't need to be literate. No, let's be honest, diba? You don't need, kahit no read, no write, maintindihan mo. Right? Abi.
Hindi
may
naintindihan
photo
mo.
eh.
No read, no write. Kahit no read, no write. tingin mo naintindihan mo. Iba yung naintindihan mo.
Baka sa pamaputi, usapan natin po.
O break daw tayo. You're watching Storycon on One News. We need to pause for a quick break. We'll be back in a bit.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group. We've got developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Patrick Paez with Ed Lingao and Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief Amy Pamintuan. Amy, Bok?
Yep.
A Senate investigation is being sought on the viral on-air interview of Brigada News FM Cebu with a 4-year-old rape victim. Uy, Agusto to. We have One News Cebu Desk Editor Dale Israel for the details. Dale.
Yes, mayong hapon kaninyong
Mayong
tanan
hapon.
na Patrick, Ed, and Ami. Let's get on with this trending topic here in Cebu. The police are investigating two radio news anchors on Brigada News FM for their controversial interview with a 4-year-old rape victim last March 13. Those that saw the interview on social media or hear it on radio would say how graphic the description of what happened to the victim. This has gotten the ire of Cebu media colleagues and organizations, including the IBB Cebu chapter, women's group, and as well as the KDP. The live interview video on social media was a trending topic for about a week already, and many say that these contain vulgar narration of the incident. It was actually the 4-year-old who narrated what happened to her in the Q&A with the two anchors. The face of the victim was not shown, and the radio station said that the interview had the consent of the mother. Senator Rita Ontiveros yesterday issued a statement condemning the interview and asked for an investigation from the DSWD and other government agencies. According to her, such an interview paved for the re-traumatization of the child and is against the DSWD administrative order that prohibits the interview of victims of sexual abuse, in this case, a minor.
A
On the
4-year-old
side
na.
of the police, the Dumanhog Police Station has recommended also the filing of criminal case against the anchors for violation of Republic Act 7610 for a chronology of the events. The child was sexually abused last March 8, and the mother went to the police on March 9, and the interview happened on March 13. The police said the interview did not have the consent from the Municipal Social Welfare Office nor the Women and Children's Desk of the police station.
Okay, Dale, first question, Dale.
Yes,
Okay, you mentioned Brigada News FM. That's the name of the station, radio station.
that's correct. That's correct.
So this is
Brigada News FM.
so this is a news station, radio station. They really do news.
Yes, it's a radio station. It has a frequency, and it's aired on the FM radio band.
Okay, but they do news because I'm frankly a little surprised that they would.
They should know better.
That they should know better, yes. Trying to look for a more diplomatic word, yeah. That they should know better than to interview a rape victim, number one, a minor,
Hindi lang minor, 4 years old.
yeah, a minor, not just a minor, but a 4-year-old.
That's correct. And the two anchors, there are two anchors actually, and one of whom is a lawyer, and a former reporter also of the other one. The other anchor.
Okay, so they have the experience, former reporter, and one is a lawyer. They know the law. So I wonder, Dale, if have they given any explanation why this happened? Why they interviewed the 4-year-old rape victim?
Yes, a separate statement from Brigada News FM said that they are already conducting their own investigation and to quote, mishandling of the interview. The radio station also said that they are one with the others in protecting the dignity of the child, but there was no announcement of suspension or of the two anchors. The two anchors also, in the radio program, said that their intentions were pure and they were purely to help the family achieve justice to what happened to the girl.
Pero as far as the radio station is concerned, the radio station already branded it as a mishandling. Is that correct? That's the word that they used?
That's the word that they used in their statement.
Okay. Kasi I think...
Dale,
yeah, go ahead.
may
Danny.
interview ba with the mother? Bakit siya pumayag? Why did the mother agree to
sorry?
the interview?
I'm sorry?
Bakit na
The
pumayag,
mother?
Dale? Ba't pumayag ang nanay?
Oh, yes. No, we cannot interview anymore the mother because the police already prevented us from doing the interview after what happened to the Brigada News FM interview.
Pero
Okay.
would the police know kung bakit pumayag yung mother to be interviewed? Na-intimidate ba siya or ano kayang dahilan?
Yes, the mother was actually the suspect. The suspect is actually a relative of the child. So the mother was actually seeking help from this radio station to achieve justice because he knew, I mean, she knew someone working at the radio station.
Okay, okay. And in some cases, no, Bok, Ami, no, we understand that in some cases, a mother like this would be unaware of the
Yes.
psychological impact or trauma that might be caused to her 4-year-old child by
Yes.
such an interview. So I guess that's perfectly
Or she might not be the
understandable.
right frame of mind to make a judgment like that.
Right.
Kasi
Oo.
if she's distraught, o ganon.
So the onus really falls on the two broadcasters. One who is supposed to be a reporter and the other who's supposed to be a lawyer who should, we'd like to think, who should have known better. But I wonder if they have what thought process went into their decision making.
I think
what went
in
into
general,
their decision
the
making.
protocol I think is that assuming that you get you get permission to interview a victim,
Yes.
it has to be done in front or
Of the-
with coordination with DSWD or social welfare expert, not just
Or with a psychologist.
or psychologist.
Tsaka
Not
actually,
just
Bok,
kayo.
last I looked, you're not supposed to interview a rape victim because you tend
Yes.
to ask them to relieve
Relive.
a very tragic moment in their life, especially a minor. Maybe for adults, it's possible to interview a rape victim who's an adult, but also with a expert on hand so that you're properly guided. So
Ako, speculation ko lang,
I think it will be
inisip nila, kung may consent ng mother, okay sila.
Yeah.
Kaya tinatanong ko nga kung under what circumstances pumayag yung mother kasi hindi rin siguro niya alam yung impact na lalabas tong siguro sinabi hindi naman makikita yung mukha ng
Mukha.
anak mo,
Right.
ganon. It's one of the problems in enforcing the child protection law, yung binanggit na Republic Act kanina ni Dale, that's the child protection law. Maraming parents na are not aware of the provisions of the
Right.
law, protection for their children, at kung anong rights under the law. That's one of the problems dyan.
siguro ang gusto lang talaga
What
mangyari
we
ng
know-
nanay is makapagsumbong sila.
Yes.
Makapagsumbong
Oo.
sila.
Yeah.
At saka yung
Sa
dalawa,
kahihingi
sabi
ng
gusto nila
tulong
makatulong.
na kapag nakuha ng media, mas may action yung police, gano'n hindi
Right,
ba?
oo.
Merong
Tsaka,
ganung mga ano rin
Alam mo naman, Ami, minsan
Mga
makasama
pag-isip.
natin, di ba? Tututukan ng mic kahit sino eh. Makakuha
Yes.
lang ng interview o soundbite, gano'n.
Anong nararamdaman mo?
Di ba?
What do you feel?
And what we know also is that one of the reporters of Brigada News FM went all the way to Dumanhog, which is a southern town. It's like a 2-hour drive going south, and then that's where the interview happened, and the interview was broadcasted live on the radio station.
Anyway, Bok, we have 4 minutes left in the broadcast. I think Dale has another story lined up. Dale?
Yep.
Yes, that's correct. There's a story on the shooting incident last Sunday involving a rapper. Range 999 is a popular rapper. And then we got update last night that the American national that was shot by the rapper died at the hospital.
Okay.
This stemmed from a conflict at the bar last Sunday, and the shooting incident happened at just outside the bar.
Okay.
This Range 999 is very popular among the young adults, and his songs are about social issues and the drug problems of teenagers.
So, Dale, this means that this won't just be a case of attempted homicide or murder or whatever it is, but it will be either homicide or murder now with the death of this American
Yes.
national.
Yes, initially the police filed frustrated murder case
Okay.
against the rapper, but in an interview last night, the police said that they will be amending the complaint they filed at the prosecutor's office. So that means the rapper will no longer be given a chance to post bail because the charges will be murder.
Okay.
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 Dale, okay ka na? May
Okay.
iba ba dyan?
I guess that's
Okay.
that's about it here in Cebu.
That was our One News Cebu Desk editor, Dale Israel. Dale, maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon. May hapon.
Thank you, Dale. Okay na.
Okay. Ano?
Paalam na rin tayo kay Ami.
Hindi, isang minuto pa eh. Ami,
What can you fit in 1 minute? Okay?
Walang mabunod story dyan?
Tatanungin ko sana siya about the captain's peak kasi tinanggalan daw ng tubig. Kaya hindi ko na natanong. Hindi bali na.
Nakabalik na siya galing ko, no? Nakabalik na siya galing Bohol.
Malayo-layo rin.
Tsaka galing sa Tagbilaran, hindi siya galing sa Sagbayan.
Oo.
Anong tinanggalan ng tubig yung,
Okay.
yung swimming pool? Anong tinanggalan ng tubig?
Tinanggalan ng National Water Resources Board
Ng
for
water
illegal
supply.
extraction of water. Ang captain's peak. Kasi deep well daw yun. So, wala nang
So,
swimming
one
pool.
more violation, Ami. No?
Water, PD, it's a
NWR,
presidential
Right,
decree.
oo.
Water Code of the Philippines.
Medyo nadagdagan yung violation ng Captain's Peak.
Merong criminal may criminal liability yun.
Yun, okay.
May criminal liability. So wala ka ng pool, wala kang tubig. Palagay ko kailangan sirain na yung pool.
Okay. Okay, thanks for joining the Storycon. Amy Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. We'll see you again, Amy.
Yep. Thank you, Patrick and Ed.
Thank you, Bok.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy weekend. Join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the Storycon. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Patrick Paez. We are One News, all sides, all the time. This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.